I get the calls from the Greeks that came here at an older age and they don't speak English, and and it's fun. They always want me to come for coffee, and I'm like, it doesn't work
Yeah,
that way anymore. I'm in an office.
not
Δεν μπορώ
bad,
να
not bad.
περάσω τώρα για να έχω ένα καφέ για 2 ώρες. Δεν γίνεται in the middle of the day. Έλα Δευτέρα στις 1 η ώρα. I'm like, δεν γίνεται.
Welcome to this episode of Greece Chats with Tony Kariotis. Today's guest is Savvas Fetfatsidis. He's a mortgage lender with guaranteed rate out of Boston, Massachusetts. Savvas is helping people realize the dream of home ownership. He plays an amazing bouzouki and has also been running the Greek Marathon now for the last 5 years. So let's jump into this conversation with Savvas. What's up, Savvas?
Hey Tony, how's it going, man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for inviting me here.
Thanks for coming on the show. We got a lot to talk about. I know today's a big day for you, heading back to the motherland for some fun stuff. But before that, let's talk a little bit about what you're up to, and then we'll jump into a little bit of that too, if you'd like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, we are leaving tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit later, possibly. But yeah, so essentially, I'm Savas. I work in the mortgage industry. I've been in the mortgage industry for about 20 years now. I'm raising a 17-year-old beautiful daughter who's a spitting image of me with heels, about to go to college. Got a lot going on, always, and very blessed to have her and my career, great friends. I grew up in Boston, Roslindale, so I have a lot of connection to the St. Nectarios Church there and the people there. Um, and yeah, I was basically raised in Boston, and basically
Nice, nice. So Greek American.
Greek American, first generation born. Yeah, my grandfather came here with my father. When they were younger, my grandfather was a shoe repair salesman, and a shoe repair actually. I had a shoe repair company in Roslindale, Savvas Shoe Repair, and my dad had a pizza shop, and that's where I basically grew up. And that's you learned how customer service, working with customers all the time, talking to people, value of hard work. Learned it all from them.
Very nice. Um, but you got into something completely different. So you're doing mortgages. So let's talk that. Talk to me about what you're doing.
So, well, mortgages. I was very lucky. I fell into it when I was younger. I wanted to be actually a guitar player. I wanted to be a famous guitar player. I wanted to go to Berkeley. I wanted to be in a band, and I wanted to rock. That was really my only goal, and that was the only thing I was obsessed with. So I learned the guitar at a young age. In fact, my first instrument was a bouzouki. My grandfather saw me when I was younger. Those festivals that we'll have at the church, and I would look at the bouzouki player in awe, and I would just sit at the stage and just look at him and look at his fingers. And
Yeah.
my grandfather picked up on that, and he bought me my first bouzouki. I think I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, and I still remember it coming out. At Logan, coming out when he was returning from Greece, and there was this big box, and then when I opened it up, it was my first bouzouki. It was pretty cool. But yeah, how I ended up in mortgages is in college. I had a hard time kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. I did basically what everyone said that you should do. Go for business, go for computers. Um, you know, I didn't have an interest in that. I didn't have an interest in computers, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I jumped from a couple of colleges, college to college, a couple of times, and I was like, you know what? Maybe college is not for me. I went back into the pizza business, and which was great, but at the same time, there is you learn work ethic. There are times in the pizza place where you can be just, it's almost meditative to make pizzas, for example. There's this peace about it. There's a security about it. But I felt like I needed more, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to college. And at that point, I actually got very serious. It was weird. I didn't. I knew I always had. I think I was a little bit down on myself that okay, maybe I'm not for college. but I wasn't passionate about anything. So I never really tried as hard as I should have. But then I said, you know what? I challenge myself. I'm gonna pick two classes that are the worst classes, the hardest, the classes that I hate the most. I wasn't big on reading books. I liked audiobooks, but never really reading. And I wasn't a big history fan. And I was like, I'm gonna take two classes. I'm gonna take an English class and a history class. And if I ace them, I'm gonna stay in college. If I don't, I'm gonna get back to the pizza place. And nevertheless, I found like the hardest teacher in history. The first thing he said to us is like, if you don't like reading, and if you don't like, tests, handwritten tests, essay tests rather, this is not the class for you. And I was like, this is the class for me. Let's go. And I aced that class, aced the English class, and I said, okay, I'm sticking to it. And it's amazing how when you have a desire and you really want something, you can make it happen. But during the college career, I met this a girl that it was in my engineering class, and she was talking about mortgages, and she said, "You'd be great at mortgages. Why don't you come into the office one time and I'll show you what we do?" And I absolutely fell in love with it. I was always great with numbers. I always wanted to be very social, and I loved being around people, and I loved helping people. And what a great opportunity to kind of start a business, in that category. And, started off very slow. And, started with family, one person here, one person there. And, probably less than a year, I got a job at a bigger firm. And there it just exploded because they had great resources, amazing training, sales, numbers, how to, structure deals. And it was just fantastic. And I was just sold at that point. I loved the energy of the business. I loved helping people, and I love math. So that basically was the perfect storm for me. And then since then, I've been doing this ever since. It's about almost 20 years now.
That's awesome. Congrats. Let's pivot. I want to talk about the actual process. Like, people obviously want to get a house, but the first step is you got to get your mortgage pre-approved, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
talk to
People.
me like a little bit about the process, the application. What should people prepare for before they even come to you?
So essentially, the process of people buying a house is usually they go backwards. They'll go to the real estate agent first, and then
Hmm.
the real estate, hey, do you have a pre-approval? They don't know what they can qualify for, all of that. So
Hmm.
I'm the first step. The mortgage loan officer is the first step, and what we have to do is develop a history of your income. We take a look at your credit, and we take a look at your assets, and we put together a picture of what it might look like if you bought a property at 400,000, 600,000, 800,000, whatever that number might be. We figure out where your maximum number would be, and we have to review everything, like your pay stubs if you're an employee. If you're self-employed, we need tax returns. That's a whole different animal. And working with Greeks, a lot of them are entrepreneurs. They have businesses, and those businesses can create. You have, let's say, you make $800,000 a year, but you have expenses of $700,000 a year. You're only making 100 grand. So seeing that stuff in advance and being prepared is really the key. And the process with us is really fast. I have an online portal that is second to none. There's a lot of AI in it where people just fill out a quick application. It pulls their credit report, and we submit them even through underwriting to get them approved in advance. That way they are 100% certain that they're going to be able to buy a property. So the first step, get pre-approved, talk to me, talk to a loan officer. We'll guide you. And then another thing is you don't want to be looking for houses that are, above your budget. You're just wasting your time. And you know
Right.
what? You at the end of the day, you find a house and the payment's too high. You're now want to pull out of the transaction. So you should know what you're getting into before you get into it. And the pre-approval is the first step.
That's awesome. So I think you kind of touched on my next question. I was going to say, give us a little bit about the behind the scenes, but you mentioned AI. Is AI taking over the mortgage industry too?
It's starting. So right now there's I'd say out of all the loans that we have, maybe about 5 to 7% are actually able to get approved without a human person touching it. There's a long, long way to go. But as far as the process go, I have a team of people that help me, and the speed and thoroughness is really important, and professionals that know what they're doing is very important to help you feel comfortable, with your approval. But the back end work, once you have a house under agreement, we again send you into underwriting to make sure that everything is still the same and nothing is changing, and you can still qualify. And most importantly, what we really do, it's a competitive market right now, and it's hard to get your offers accepted. And what sets us apart is the ability to give you the peace of mind in advance through an underwriting pre-approval. We can many times even waive an appraisal for a property. And when you make an offer, you can list the least amount of terms on your offer so that it increases your chances of getting it accepted. And that's where we work on the most, is how do we give our customers an edge, when they're battling another offer.
Right, right. So what I was going to say next is I want to focus in on the pre-approval part just a bit more. When someone gets a pre-approval, that's not the end-all be-all. There can be something that happens by the time they get their pre-approval, by the time they find their house, by the time they win the offer, that we might have to circle back to the beginning, or no?
Yeah. Circling back to the very beginning, not really, but you might have to backtrack because there are life changes that can happen. Maybe they had a large expense that came up in their life and they had to withdraw a lot of funds that they were going to be using towards the transaction. We have to regroup. Maybe they switch jobs. That's another reason to regroup. Maybe their job changed and, maybe they improved on their income and they want to regroup again to see if they can qualify for more. They could have missed a couple of payments on like a credit card or a car loan. That affects their credit score, and that can affect their approvability. So, when you're making an offer, it's about regrouping. So you get pre-approved in January, you don't find a house until April. You don't just make an offer without having a conversation to say, okay, are we still where we were before, in January?
Right.
But a lot
I
of
guess
stuff
that's why
can
they
happen.
call. I guess that's why they call it a pre-approval.
A pretty approval. I never heard that actually.
Oh, no, no, I didn't say
Oh,
pre-approval. I said I guess that's why they call it a
a
pre-approval.
pre. I thought you said pretty. I'm like, I
No,
know
no,
I'm
no,
pretty.
no. No, I guess that's why they call it a pre-approval, not an approval, right? I guess
Exactly.
if this is what things will look like, you'll get approved. However, things change. We got to start over.
Yeah, you got it. That's actually, I never thought of it that way. You're right.
Yeah, because I've seen situations where people assume I got the pre-approval. I know I'm going to get this house 100%. Well, there's still some steps left to it.
Yep, exactly. It's not over just because you have the pre-approval. There's a few steps after that. And the process when you find a house takes anywhere between like 30 and 45 days. Something can happen in the middle of that as well. And that's where working with somebody who has experience and has gone through all the different scenarios, believe it or not, 20 years in the business, and I still run into situations that I've never seen before. It's incredible. Everyone, no matter how clean an application might be, straightforward, every person has some intricacy that could pose some sort of an issue. And being able to adjust and shift a little bit during a transaction is super important because anything can happen during the transaction.
Amazing. All right, so I think we covered what it takes to at least get started.
Yeah.
Huh? We gotta come
Uh,
come find you. Go on the website, punch our name in, let the AI say yes or no, and then I go
yeah,
pick my house.
pretty much, pretty much. The AI is doing a little bit of it. I am doing a lot of it as well in the background. But then we have a network of real estate agents that we work with, and depending on where you're looking to buy, we can connect you. It can be with a Greek real estate agent if you speak only Greek, or if
Yeah.
you want somebody in the same culture, we can do that as well. So there's a huge network. It's a big industry, but a small business, if you will. Everyone kind of knows each
Yeah.
other, and we know who's the best and who's not, if you will.
Yeah. So, I mean, growing up a Greek American, I'm sure you deal with a lot of Greeks, and I'm sure they call you, Ela, χρειάζομαι σπίτι. Ela, βάλτο.
Okay. Okay. So this is an itchy subject for me. So, I grew up in the Greek community where basically, right, nobody wants you to know their business, first of all, right? I don't know
Right,
what it
yeah.
is. They don't want you to have the mati,
Yeah,
Μη
yeah,
σε
yeah.
ματιάξει, παιδάκι μου, μη τους πεις τι κάνεις, τι βγάζεις και το ένα και το άλλο. But I'll tell you, as in the beginning, until you're known, until you build some sort of foundation, people don't trust you until they see that you have some sort of a track record. And
Yeah.
the thing that's kind of inspired me is, I get the calls from the Greeks that came here at an older age and they don't speak English, and and it's fun. They always want me to come for coffee. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
it doesn't work that way anymore. I'm in an
yeah.
office.
Πέρα,
Δεν
πέρα.
μπορώ να περάσω τώρα για να πω ένα καφέ για 2 ώρες. Δεν γίνεται in the middle of the day, Έλα Δευτέρα στις 1 η ώρα. I'm like, δεν γίνεται, And, but you can't help but love, interacting
Yeah.
with that. But what I like to do, I still would have to meet up with customers like that because they don't have the technological savvy to be able to, do everything electronically, which 99% of what we do is electronic. I barely have paper anymore unless I work with those types of customers who are just kind of very old school. And, it's fun to work with them, but it's hard to say no to them. I swear it's hard to say no. I'm like, sometimes I just say yes and I'm like, I don't have the time to go an hour to drive 2 hours for a coffee and then, an hour back. But it's really fun to do that.
That's awesome. All right. So speaking of being Greek and all that, I want to talk a little bit about Greece and Greek culture. But before I do that, I got to read off a few ads that make this podcast possible. So I'll read them off with you on the air. We'll have some fun with it. First one up is Glosti. What is Glosti, you might ask? Glosti makes handmade Greek products straight out of Greece. All seasons, different occasions, Christmas, you have Ohi Day, all that good stuff. They make gifts for men, women, and kids. So check them out at glosti.com or go to @glostihandmade. @glosti_handmade, I should say. I've got to get those right. Up next, we have Kastra Elion Vodka. Kastra Elion Premium Sippin' Vodka is a Greek vodka distilled from Nafpaktos, Greece. Have you been to Nafpaktos?
I haven't.
I haven't either. I guess I have to go try it. But I have tried the Kastra Elion Vodka, and it is delicious. It must be 21 and over. Please drink responsibly. Up next, we have Origins. Origins is a new app, travel-based app, perfect companion for those who love to travel and connect with their roots. How does it work, you say? Well, imagine a GPS-based app, so similar to like a social app, where you tell the app, hey, I'm from Boston, I'm from Greece. For me, I would say I'm from Boston, Greece, Kalamata, Kalinos, right? So then let's say I'm on this fantastic journey to South Africa, and someone that's got one of those 4 routes is in that area, has the app. The GPS would rank them higher and give you the option to connect with them. So you might see, oh, this person's from Boston and he's down here in Cape Town. Let me connect with them. So it's a cool way to connect with people that share similar routes.
Oh, cool.
A couple more. If you are a Greek without your dual citizenship, part of the diaspora or even from Greece, and you have Greek ancestry and you're looking to get your citizenship, head to greece-media.com/Greek citizenship. And for those planning to visit Greece and want to build a trip that they'll remember forever and don't want to do it themselves, go to greece-media.com, book your tours, excursions, activities, hotels, or have someone put it together for you. That's all I got for today. Let's get back to the show. So, Savvas, where in Greece do you call home?
Athens and Sitagri Drama up north. In Athens, it's called, I'm in Iraklio,
Okay.
and then I'm a Pondio as well from Sitagri near Drama. And yeah, that's where I'm from. I actually lived in Greece for a couple of years when I was younger. I moved there as a teenager for a couple of years, and I was, living with my grandparents for a couple of years, and it was kind of cool. I hated it at the time, but not being with my friends. But then when I look back, there was a lot of amazing growing experiences during that time too.
Yeah. So when you lived, sorry, you said where in Greece were you living?
I was living in Iraklio, so
In
I was
Irakli.
when I
Okay.
was younger. When I was younger, no Iraklio. When I was younger, I had asthma, and for some reason, every time I went to Greece, my asthma never bothered me. It was so weird,
Okay.
and maybe
Yeah.
the drier weather or whatnot. And it got so bad in the U.S. that my parents made this decision with our primary care that listen, maybe leave him there for a year with his grandparents and see if something happens. And that's what they did. They left me there for 2 years. I went to an American college in Athens. It was during the Iraqi War, and I met all these Americans that were in this American school in Athens, like right out of a movie. I mean, one of the coolest schools. It's a great school, and I met so many amazing people. But it was a great experience living there. I would probably, you know, I was cursing my parents for leaving me here for so long while I was there. I missed everyone, but when I look back now, it was such a great experience.
Beautiful. And then the other part of Greece you said was in near Drama.
Yeah, Drama up north near past
Yeah.
Thessaloniki.
So that's by like Kavala, right?
Yep, exactly.
Somewhat close by. Okay, because my
Hmm.
girlfriend's from Kavala, so I'm starting to get to know that area a bit more these
Oh,
last few
yeah.
years.
Oh,
Because,
cool. Yeah.
yep. All right. So what I want from you then for give me for both. We'll start with drama. If a traveler was heading to Greece and was going to visit there for the first time, what is one big tip that you would give them?
To Drama?
Yeah.
That's a tricky one, I'm like in the village, um, but Drama does have a
I
little
want.
city there, and in
Okay.
fact, there was a movie that was recorded in the city of Drama with Robert De Niro. I fail to remember which one right now, but they were recording there, so it has a nice little city there that small, great food places. Kind of, there's a full spectrum of different people, young people, older people, and just kind of a mixture of Greeks there. And Kavala, excuse me, in Drama, you can go to different places from there. So if your home base is there, you can walk beautiful places to walk around. But you can go to Thassos, for example, which is an island that's nearby. So I wouldn't usually make that my base, to be honest. I like kind of Athens
Sure.
my base.
All right.
But that's what I would say is like check out the small little city there. Maybe take a couple of drives around, the villages so that you can kind of see what life is like there and how calm it is, and some of the most beautiful sunsets behind the mountains I've ever seen in my life. The colors of the sky are so beautiful there, and I think it might be because it's a humid kind of a place that the sunsets just like blare out at you. And then in Athens, I would recommend in Athens staying in the city near Plaka, and I probably wouldn't stay in Athens for too long, maybe 3 or 4 days, just to really take a look at the sights. And Plaka for me is you're right in the middle of the action, right in the middle of the tourism, right in the middle of the safe. It's safe there as well. You walk around. There's so much to see, and you go to the museum, you go up to the Parthenon. I mean, it's magical. It really, really is. And then at nighttime, you can find all these different little kind of places where they have the live music. And, we stumbled upon those a couple of times, and those are the coolest nights ever, right? When you're not really planning it, you're walking down the street and you're like, I hear some bouzouki. I'm gonna go that way. And you just end up at this place that just has so much energy, so much chavale, as we say. And we're like, okay, this is where we're staying for the night. And you
Yeah.
really get a feel for it.
That's well said. How often do you get to go back to Greece?
2 times a year. So I go there in the summer and I try to go there for about 3 to 4 weeks in the summer. And again, we go in November because we run the Greek marathon, the authentic marathon every year. So we're leaving tonight actually and coming back on Tuesday. So the marathon's on Sunday. So 2 times a year. Um, And yeah, I'm really grateful that I have like a job that can actually allow me to travel, right? I can
Yeah.
travel and I can still work, and in Greece it's actually even better because they're 7 hours ahead. So
Hmm.
I have all day to do whatever I want. No one
Yeah.
bother me.
Yeah.
3 p.m., 4 p.m. comes around, and then I can jump on and, work.
Yeah. So you got this marathon coming up. Tell me a little bit about it.
So it's me and four other friends. About 5 years ago, I wasn't in the best physical condition. I did try to go to the gym, and one of my friends, you know him as well, Nikita, said to me, it was like, oh, let's go to the gym together. We went together, and he said, oh, he ran a marathon, the Boston Marathon before, and we had a little conversation of that, and he's like, dude, we should run the Greek marathon. I'm like, I never even ran a mile, man. Like since I was younger, I'm like, I'm not a runner. And he's like, oh, let's just, do it. So, we committed very early and started 1 mile, 5 miles, 7 miles, 10 miles, long runs. I mean, and it was the most inspiring year. And as me and Nikita started running, more and more people started joining. And then we had this kind of hard kind of group, solid group together and created a group called Greek Time Running, GTR. And we've been trying to go every year. COVID kind of screwed us up a little bit, but this is my third time that we're running it. And I think it's like the fourth time for a couple of the other guys. But we go there as a group for about a week, go about 3 days early, really get acclimated to the place, eat whatever we want, and drink all the coffee we want, and tour like act like tourists, but also be Greek in our element as well. So it's a magical experience. But since then, it's kind of the best. One of the best things I ever did in my life was being a part of a group that was very like-minded people who, they care about their health. They care about their families. They care about their work. Successful in their fields, motivating, trying to stay very positive. And you know what? We have a group of people where we motivate each other every day. Like every morning, you get an email, you get a message, excuse me, saying, "Hey, where are you guys at? Let's go. We got our run this morning." And everyone does their little short runs, and we make sure that we stay accountable to each other. And sometimes when you don't want to get out of bed to exercise, you kind of have to. You have an accountability thing here. You can't let him get the running and you not. But the experience of running in Greece, though, is man. Again, I can only say magical, but it's one of the hardest runs. There's a 10 mile uphill, nonstop like portion of the run, which is like flat, right, like smack right in the middle, and it's hotter than it is here. And I've wanted to quit at mile 12, 14 before, but because we train all year, we actually can get through it. And you know what? We're not trying to win the marathon, which we'll never do. We're not trying to be the fastest. What we're trying to do is stay healthy and enjoy our company, challenge ourselves to the point where we believe is our limit, and really just have a good time with it. And we run as fast as the slowest person because we want to finish in a group, and it's amazing to do that.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see the stuff you guys are going to post on social media this week. I'm sure I'll see a lot on your page and on Nikita's page.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, all right, so I want to talk a little bit of Greek tourism. Would give me your three favorite Greek islands.
Three favorite Greek islands. My top one is Lefkada. Um, right now, Rhodes is up there, man, and I love Paros as well.
Three great
Lefkada,
choices.
yeah, I love Lefkada because you can drive to it. It's easy to get
Yeah.
to, and I think that's my favorite because there's like almost every single beach that I've went to there, I've like fallen in love with. And I've been to a lot of beaches. I went to Rhodes, I went to Paros, and they have beautiful beaches, but I didn't feel like they had as many as like as Lefkada for me. And everyone's
Hmm.
different. Every island
Lefkada
has
is
its
really
appeal for
nice.
it. I love Lefkada.
That entire western side of the island strip from like Ionikitas beach all the way down to like partakes. Oh my God, the water is just insanely beautiful.
It's insane, but it's also cool, right? And like the water, you're hot, you're sweating, you're
Yeah,
going up and down these like mountains of stairs to get there. All you
yeah,
want to do is jump in nice, cool water, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
cool. And I know the Greeks there. They're like polikria netaneraiki. I'm like, no,
yeah,
they are perfect. Άμα θες να δεις κρύα, έλα στο Cape Cod εδώ πέρα και θα σε δείξω κρύα.
yeah, exactly. All right, give me 3 favorite mainland destinations.
Mainland destinations. Mainland. I love Parga. Love Parga.
Okay.
Chalkidiki. And I'm still sticking to my Athens, man. I know the Greeks are
All
like,
right.
the Athenians saying, Φύγα από εδώ πέρα, τι κάθεσαι στην Αθήνα. But man, I
Yeah.
freaking love Athens. I just love the way that it feels when I'm there.
Yeah. And I know everyone that loves Chalkidiki always reminds me of the saying, something Chalkidiki δεν έχει. But then again, you can say that about everywhere in Greece,
You can
right?
say that about everywhere in Greece. That's
Yeah.
right.
All right, give me your 3 favorite Greek dishes.
This is easy. Pasticho, top of the list.
Yeah.
Κότα με πατάτες στο φούρνο.
All right.
Only the way my mother makes it.
Yeah, of course.
And octopus. Any way you want to make it.
All
If you can rotate these, one day I have pasticho, one day I have kota, and one day I have octopus, and it just rotates throughout my life.
Yeah.
I'm in
You're
bliss.
good. All right, fair enough. 3 great choices. 3 favorite Greek desserts.
I'm not a dessert guy, man. I'm not.
All right.
I'm really not. The baklava, fine. And you know what's so funny is that I don't eat them. I don't eat them at all, so I never even remember what the names of the desserts are. That's how little
Funny.
I eat them.
I'm actually like you. I don't actually eat the Greek desserts.
Yeah,
Nothing against them.
kurabiedes.
I'm just not a dessert person.
Me
Like
neither.
I don't think I've had baklava.
No,
I shouldn't say that publicly, right?
no, you shouldn't. No, not the Greeks. But I didn't even realize you were going to ask me that, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't even know any Greek
It's all
desserts.
good.
It's terrible.
It's all good. All right, your favorite Greek kind of coffee?
My favorite Greek coffee. Το ελληνικό καφέ στο χωριό, εκείνο. Να είναι μικρό το φλιτζάνι.
Yeah.
Μικρό το φλιτζάνι. Έτσι. Did they do this to you when you were younger? Like my papu would pour it in the flizzani, and like a little bit, and then I would sip a little bit like this. Did they do that to you, or was that just me?
Well, not put enough.
No, they would. So my papu, when I was younger, I would say, oh, I want some coffee, and he would just pour it in a little holder, and I would just drink a little bit out of there.
Oh.
But
I don't know. I didn't start drinking Greek coffee till late, so I don't know. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's his fault that I need to have 3 or 4 coffees a day now.
The same way here. I need to get on my second one. It's still morning. I make my own Fredo espressos here at the house.
Oh,
got the whole setup going. Got them perfect. I got it coming out perfect.
But you know what? I answered that question a little bit too quickly. The frappe. I still drink frappe in Greece. And
all right, he's OG.
Some coffee shops, they don't even serve frappe anymore. They're like, okay, Fredo espresso. I'm like, δεν θέλω Fredo espresso. Θέλω frappe. I never drink frappe in America. Ever. I won't make it, nothing. But when I go there, I just want that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Sometimes they look at me with like I have 3 heads.
No, some places, if you go to these modern coffee shops, they don't want to even look at a frappe, but some of the OG ones will still make it.
Yeah, exactly. They do.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, frappe is always a vibe. Come on. You get the parade together. Hey, the fiaxo frappe. Let's circle around the living room. Everyone has a coffee, a frappe. Nothing. Even though Fredo is great and it's better in some ways, nothing will replace that vibe of, hey, we're going to drink some frappe and chill. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Sorry. It even sounds better when you say it. I don't know. And a frappedaki.
All right. Let's continue. Let's hop back to the mortgage talk. I had one important question because we have my audiences from all different parts of the world and in all different parts of the U.S. who can you help? You helping Greeks you're helping people, not just Greeks, people in America and Greeks in America.
Right. So we're a U.S. company. We work across the whole country, and we do work with also, if you immigrated here from Greece, you have maybe a visa or a green card, and you have a job. We work with everyone, but only in the United States.
Okay. So all 50 states, if you reside in one of the 50 states and you are looking for a pre-approval, here's your
Reach
guy,
out to us.
Savvas Fetfatsidis. You can find him on Instagram at Savvas Mortgage. Couple last questions that I usually ask all my guests before I let them go. First, is there a question that I didn't ask you that you wish I did?
Hmm. All right. That I wish you asked me.
You can also use
Do
this as
I
a
do?
placeholder if you want something you want to talk about that we didn't get into.
Sure. How well do I play the bouzouki? That's what you didn't ask me. I got to bring my
How
bouzouki.
well
I got to start making some bouzouki videos. Let me tell you.
you do. All right, if you play the bouzouki, you need to start posting those reels more, and we'll share more of them on. We'll put more on our page
Yeah, when it
so that
comes to
people can
like the
see
things,
you.
yeah, when it comes to the things that I love, music is on the top, and
All right.
a good zembekiko.
So not only will he get you a pre-approval, he's going to play the bouzouki for you, any song you like.
Asa pekso ke na bouzouki.
There you go. All right. I got one last question for you. You ready for it? And this one's my sign-off question for everyone. What does being Greek mean to you?
What does being Greek mean to me? For me, it's a feeling of family, friends, food, religion, and our culture. I still have friends. Most of my friends are Greek. Um, we have this connection, and we have this kalosini about us that I'm sure other cultures have, but the connection between us is so strong, and you feel like you're a part of something greater. And the history that we have, and how versatile and how successful and how loving the Greeks are. That's really the core for me, and family being at the center of it.
Beautifully said. Again. All
Thank
right.
you, buddy.
Take this chance to plug yourself. Where can we find you? Give us your websites, your social medias. If anyone listening wants to find you and say hello or say, hey, I want a pre-approval or play me a bouzouki, how can we
Sounds
find
good.
you?
So Savvas Mortgage on Instagram, Savvas Fetfatsidis on Facebook. I have a website. You can reach me there as well to apply, but a phone call and an email is best. And I have the easiest email because I'm the only Savvas in my company. Instead of savvas.fetfatsidis at blah blah blah, they gave me Savvas Savvas at rate.com. Nice and easy.
Wow, wow, four-letter domain. There
Yep.
you go. Nice and simple. So there you go. Savas at rate.com. Awesome. Savas, thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you on. We learned a lot today. Hopefully, my listeners can learn from this, maybe even give you a call and not only ask you to play the bouzouki, but maybe have you give them the opportunity to find their home of their dreams. So once again, Sava, thank you for coming on. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of Greece Chats with Tony
Thank you,
Kariotis.
Tony.
Today's guest was Savvas Fetfatsidis, and he can help you get your pre-approval for your dream home. Savvas, we'll talk soon. And
I
good luck on the
appreciate everything,
marathon in
Tony.
Greece. Good luck in the
Let's go.
marathon.
Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Thank
Talk
you
to you
for
guys
this.
soon.
All right.